Council special meeting tonight, September 16th, 2025 at 5:16 p.m. in the Selma City Council chambers at 1710 Tucker Street, Selma, California 93662. The teleconference phone number is 301-715-8592. And the webinar ID is 891-6864-5005. When on the phone, if you wish to address the council during the public comment portion of the agenda, press star 9 to raise your hand and we will select you from the meeting queue. Press star 6 to unmute and mute yourself. Notice to meeting attendees, members of the audience shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of threatening or abusive language or other acts which disturb, disrupt, impede, or otherwise render the orderly conduct of a city council meeting infeasible. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Avalos.
Here.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
We're going to do in the regular meeting, not special meeting. Okay, thank you. Potential conflicts of interest. Any council member who has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Agenda changes or deletions to better accommodate members of the public or inconvenience in the order of presentation. Items on the agenda may not be presented or acted on in the order listed. Additions to the agenda may be added only pursuant to California Government Code, Section 54954.2b. Oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the City Council regarding any item on the regular or the special meeting agenda over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Does anybody have any oral communications at this time? Anybody online or on the phone with oral communications?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
Thank you. With that, we are going to move into our one and only special presentation tonight. And this is going to be introduction of city manager candidates, 2 of them, with a brief summary as read by myself, followed by a meet and greet with your City of Selma city manager candidates with community feedback opportunity. I wanted to just make a couple notes. Initially, the city manager interacts with 3 groups on a regular basis: the city council, city administration, and the people of Selma. The city started this process of hiring a new city manager over 45 days ago. And after an initial selection of applications and 2 rounds of interviews, the field has been reduced to 2 finalists before you. The city council values your input. And the next 30 minutes or so will be for you to meet and speak briefly with the city manager candidates. You can enter through your phone on the QR code your comments. There will be ample space for you to enter as much or as little as you'd like. If you have any questions or issues entering your opinions, please see our public information officer, Jose Moreno, who will be here during the entire meet and greet. As always, you can, of course, let city council members know, or the mayor pro tem. You can email us, and your thoughts will, of course, be confidential. We will reconvene for the regular council meeting at 6 p.m. Feel free to have an appetizer from the appetizer tray and a water. And best of luck for everybody. Now I'm going to read the 2 bios of the 2 city manager finalists, and I'm going to read them in alphabetical order. The first one is the bio of Jerome Keene. Jerome Keene brings nearly 2 decades of leadership experience across municipal government, urban planning, land development, technical consulting, and academia. Mr. Keene holds a bachelor's degree in geography from California State University, Fresno, and a master's degree of applied science and community development with a technical emphasis in building economic capacity from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Mr. Keene has developed a 19-plus year career that blends technical expertise, government and regulatory oversight, and executive management leadership. Mr. Keene's employment experience includes Madera County, where he was a Planner 3, and while also acting as LAFCO assistant and primary executive officer, QK Engineering, where he managed products throughout California while supervising 2 planning offices. He has served as interim community development director for the city of Delano and Century Communities, where he executed permitting, entitlement, and construction of residential subdivisions. He has served as a lecturer for the Department of Geography, Regional and City Planning, and Fresno State University. Mr. Keene obtained his certification in urban planning from the American Institute of Certified Planners. He now serves as deputy city manager for the city of Selma. Mr. Keene's professional path reflects a uniquely collaborative perspective that includes local and regional relationships. He has overseen projects throughout the Central Valley for cities, including Selma, Madera, Fresno, Clovis, Visalia, Tulare, Reedley, Kingsburg, Hanford, Kerman, Chowchilla, Dinuba, and Delano counties such as Fresno, Madera, Kern, Alameda, Merced, and El Dorado. Mr. Keene has successfully collaborated with various special districts, state agencies, and joint power authorities, including PG&E, Southern California Edison, Southern California Gas Company, the High Speed Rail Authority, Caltrans, and CalWater. He has established collaborative relationships with other regional agencies, including Consolidated Fresno, Alta, and Madera irrigation districts, the Madera, Kern, Tulare, Orange, and El Dorado Local Agency Formation Commissions, known as LAFCO, and the Fresno Council of Governments. Mr. Keene's diverse professional background, combined with his experience in municipal management, while serving the community of Selma as the current deputy city manager, spans public agencies, private developers, technical consulting, and university-level instruction. Mr. Keene demonstrates vision, progression, and collaboration for the position of city manager that reflects not only an understanding of day-to-day municipal operations, but also provides an exemplary example of achievement in urban planning, economic development, fiscal stability, and community engagement, all of which makes him a strong candidate for the Selma city manager position. Our next finalist is Jason Rogers. Jason Rogers is a lifelong resident of California's Central Valley with nearly 17 years of experience in local government leadership. He holds a master's in business administration degree from Louisiana State University, Shreveport. For the past 9 years, he has served as the director of public works for the city of Chowchilla, where he has overseen critical infrastructure improvements, road maintenance programs, modernization of water and wastewater systems, and compliance with state and federal regulations. Jason has been a strong advocate for fiscal responsibility, ensuring projects are delivered on time and within budget by leveraging grants, outside funding, and strong reserve management. He played a key role in supporting the AutoZone Distribution Center, one of the largest private investments in Chowchilla's history, which created hundreds of jobs and demonstrated his ability to align economic development with public infrastructure planning. Jason has also worked extensively with outside agencies, including Caltrans, the State Water Resources Control Board, the High Speed Rail Authority, and transportation commissions to advance regional projects and secure funding for local priorities. Beyond his professional career, Jason is a devoted family man. He and his wife have been together for 26 years and are raising 2 children ages 13 and 16. Together, they are active in community theater, supporting youth productions, and helping create opportunities for young people to grow through the arts. Jason believes that great cities are built not only on safe streets, reliable infrastructure, and sound finances, but also on the connections, opportunities, and enrichment that come from family, culture, and youth engagement. His leadership style blends fiscal discipline, hands-on problem solving, collaboration with regional partners, and a genuine commitment to serving people, making him a strong candidate to lead Selma into its next chapter. And with that, we're going to open the meet and greet part of this special meeting tonight. And we will have the camera on, but we will not have sound. So you'll be seen but not heard. With that, we will recess into our special meeting. Yeah, and if anybody came in recently, you can take a picture of the Q code and you can enter your thoughts there and your opinions through that. And then you can see our public information officer, Jose Moreno, if you have any questions, and you can also get
QR codes on
the QR code there on those,
the table.
on the table next to the eats and on the podium. Thank you.
play golf, John? Oh, you're kidding. Oh.
That's like $7,000 for the day.
Well, good thing they didn't drown. They good thing they didn't flip over and drown.
On the field. All the range, right? Also. Of course, the armadillos come out. Lightning comes out. Lightning's hit. Texas, right?
But hits the ground, hits the ground.
Just like.
Hey, you get to see it.
It's a good thing.
Well, see, back in the Midwest, lightning hits the ground. I didn't know we flew into, I think, Baltimore. We couldn't get off the airplane for about an hour and a half because the lightning was hitting. And they said, you gotta stay on the plane. So the guy says, the workers has to go inside and hide, because lightning. I mean, we were there in the airplane and we couldn't get out of the air. We were stuck.
Because nobody can come get you.
Come get you.
Doors. Well, the rubber tires around.
No, you're good as there, yeah, but we couldn't get out. But you can see the lightning just in the ground. I know. Oh, humidity is bad. Okay. Oh, mine's on.
Okay, we're going to call the 2-minute warning before our special meeting. Our meet and greet is going to conclude and we can start our regular meeting. 2 minutes. Finish up your comments with candidates. Anybody can get a chance to speak with them. Now's your last chance. Familiar? Who's that guy? Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated in tonight's meet and greet. I hope everybody learned a lot. I hope you had some questions answered if you did have those questions, and I really hope you left your feedback using the QR code that was made available to you. And we thank our Public Information Officer, Jose Moreno, for availing us of that QR code technology tonight. Also want to say thank you to city staff, John Kunkel, for the trays. We really appreciate that, and the waters. And thank you to staff for coming out here and letting everybody have a little extra space in order to stretch out and talk to the finalists for the city manager position. I know everybody is taking this seriously, and we are on the city council, and we really appreciate your input, as we appreciate our department heads' input as well, and the rigorous interview process that the city manager candidates went through to get to this part. So thank you very much for your efforts. Really appreciate it. And with that, we will start our Selma City Council regular meeting. It is September 16th, still 2025, and it's 6:00 p.m. in the Selma City Council chambers at 1710 Tucker Street, Selma, California, 93662. Teleconference phone number is 301-715-8592. The webinar ID is 891-6864-5005. When on the phone, if you wish to address the council during the public comment portion of the agenda, press *9 to raise your hand, and we will select you from the meeting queue. Press *6 to unmute and mute yourself. Notice to meeting attendees, members of the audience shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of threatening or abusive language or other acts which disturb, disrupt, or impede or otherwise render the orderly conduct of a city council infeasible. Well, tonight, since we do not have someone here for the invocation, I am going to instead ask for a moment of silence for several counts. The first count will be, of course, for Dennis Lujan, our longtime mayor and council member of 30-plus years, who passed away last week. We'll hear more about that during council comments from his friend and colleague, Councilmember Jim Avalos. I also would like to have a moment of silence to remember and commemorate all the victims of senseless violence recently. And finally, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Chief Rudy Alcarez's mother-in-law, who also passed away. Could we all bow our heads for a moment of silence in remembrance of everyone? Thank you very much. Pledge of allegiance.
Let's please stand. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Avalos.
Here.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
Here. Potential conflicts of interest. Any council member has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Agenda changes or deletions to better accommodate members of the public or inconvenience in the order of presentation. Items on the agenda may not be presented or acted on in the order listed. Additions to agenda may be added only pursuant to California Government Code Section 54954.2B. City Attorney, do we have any agenda changes or deletions tonight?
Nothing to add or to delete.
Thank you. Oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item on the regular meeting agenda over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone with oral communications at this time? Anyone on the phone or online with oral communications?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
With that, we will move on from oral communications to our consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar category are considered routine. The complete consent calendar will be enacted by one motion by roll call vote. For purposes of discussion, any council member may have an item removed from the consent calendar and made part of the regular agenda. The council can then approve the remainder of the consent calendar. Does council have any items they would like removed tonight from consent?
Yeah, I'd like to move, one dash three.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to remove item 1-8. Is there a motion to approve items 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, call it roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Sarah Guerra.
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item 13.
Okay, I like to, move, actually two items, 8773, Ron Cashin and Cashin Consulting, which is $4,261.52. I want some clarification on that. That's, 8773.
That's our monthly invoice for Rod Carsey, who does our building plan check for the building department.
Okay, yeah, on that particular note, on that issue, is that, I thought we were gonna change that down the road.
I believe his contract's a 3-year contract, which was entered into last year after we made revisions to the
It's a 3-year contract, huh?
yeah, so
Okay.
it'll expire 2027, I believe, but the primary premise for the revision to Rod's contract was to cap commercial plan checks at a specific amount because he receives 55% of the plan check fee for those items, and we were having some invoices that exceeded much. We had invoices in the 5-digit range, high 5-digit range some months based off of how his contract was previously agreed upon. So we went back and revisited his contract, and it didn't have a term. And so routinely we revise contracts to go out for 3 years so we can revisit pricing at a variable interval.
And the reason why I asked that question, I don't remember that coming to council way back then. It must have came up prior.
The revisions to his contract did come to council. I can get that date for you before the end of the meeting, council member.
Okay. And stay right there, Jerome. Don't move. Okay. 87854, which is the tablet command. I think oh, that's fire chief. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jerome. I apologize. Wrong person.
Don't either one of you go anywhere.
I thought you're I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were technician too there, chief.
Sorry,
Yeah,
did you
that
have
was
a?
87854.
Sure, so that is for the cost of iPad cases for our tablet command iPads. Those are the devices that we utilize for our mobile data terminals for our fire engines and battalion chiefs. So each one of those apparatus has an iPad inside their vehicle, and that provides them the mapping, the CAD information, as well as a instant command tool for accountability. The reason for the cooling cases is that iOS devices are sensitive to heat. And here in the Central Valley, our apparatus sit out in the sun for long periods of time while they're operating, and it puts those devices into an overheat function where you can't utilize them and you have to wait for them to cool down, which at times can take several minutes. And we receive critical information for that. And so this particular product is there's one company making them currently that is compatible with what we need them, and that's that. And just to kind of further explain this process, Tablet Command is a new program that the region is utilizing, and it's actually becoming more prevalent up and down the state of California. But it's a dispatch and command program utilized by the fire service, and so on those devices, we can actually see resources in LA City and Northern California all on those same maps. And so it works for interoperability on large scale incidents as well as using them at the local level. And so this is just a device to mitigate the heat issues that we deal with here in the Central Valley.
Now, on that particular note, now, before we purchased this item, was it other items working before, as far as the operational?
So the transition to Tablet Command occurred this year. We had planned for that. We are dispatched through CAL FIRE and Fresno County Fire Protection District for fire protection services, and that is the program that they utilize. And so as a partner of their dispatch center, we're required to utilize that software product. The challenging part with that is there is not a window-based component of their software, and so everything on the application side is iOS or Apple based. Prior to that, we were using a different dispatch and MDT program that was available on Windows based devices. We'd use like a laptop computer, but one that's designed for more rigorous conditions. But this program is not that's not an option for us. And so that transition, it was planned, it was incorporated in this fiscal year's budget for the devices, the software upgrades, as well as the cooling cases that you're seeing before you today.
Okay, on that note, on this upgrade of this operation here, so in other words, this is more, how about I put it in simple language, it's compatible to CAL FIRE. Are you guys in the same lane as far as all the, as far as the operational, it's on the same page as far as
Yeah, so
nothing, in other words, you're linking each other together,
correct.
bottom line.
Yes.
So you're more efficient.
Yeah, so there, it creates interoperability between us and multiple other agencies. This software is utilized by all of the resources that are dispatched by CAL FIRE up and down the state, as well as all of the resources that are dispatched by Fresno counties or the Fresno Kings unit, CAL FIRE station by the airport there where their dispatch center is. So our neighboring cooperators also utilize this that are dispatched by them.
Okay, another, says, one more, 7793, which is the, I want to say your ambulance, which is, repair. Is that, another one, another repair for, on your ambulance service? That was
Yes.
$2,340.24.
Yes, and I don't have the specific invoice in front of me for that particular ambulance, but we utilize Mercedes-Benz of Fresno for the repairs because they're the local Mercedes-Benz dealership for that. And we do currently have 4 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter ambulances in service. We just purchased a 5th one this year, and the ambulance that was just approved in consent calendar is actually a Ford ambulance because that allows us to source repairs more locally here than having to go up to Fresno for Mercedes-Benz. And so that's one of the benefits of changing chassis. For this particular one, this is for just one of our ambulances. And as a reminder, those ambulances, each one racks up about 50,000 miles a year of pretty hard driving conditions. And so they go through a pretty rigorous preventative maintenance program. This is not an example of preventative maintenance. This is probably a combination of a preventative maintenance schedule as well as an additional repair item, but I'm not sure the specific, and I could get that to you if you wish.
You know, the reason I'm asking this, Chief, is, last registry was a different one I see. And this one, I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, the ambulance we had before, I'm never seen these costs increase so high, you know what I mean? The old ambulance, I want to say the old ambulance service we had, you know, before we got the Mercedes. So, there's, on these, are there warranties on this, on these particular items, or is there, when we purchase them?
The warranties are specific to the repairs themselves. So when we purchase a new ambulance, they're subject to the factory warranty that's included with that purchase. The actual repairs themselves have individual warranties depending on the component that's in question and whether or not it's a wear item or an actual mechanical breakdown or whatever the case may be. I think the other thing that's important to add here is that our fire apparatus as well as our ambulance services for maintenance, for preventative maintenance and repair is being subbed out to a third party where previously those repairs and maintenance was being done internally. We found that we were having some challenges with the repairs and preventative maintenance that were occurring, as well as having appropriate certification and training to work on those specific types of vehicles. And so we've made adjustments to our operations specifically with regards to fleet maintenance and repair. And that's why you see a more frequent update on the check register for that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I gotta say.
Do you have any? Okay, I have one, and it's 87850, and it's James UHL Breaking the Chains Consulting, and it says straightening plus organizational development, and it was 10,000. I remember that I think you guys used these people last year for a team building conference. Did this happen for staff?
Yes, Harry?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, this is a quarterly fee from July to September. And what it is a tool for all employees for development, for leadership, and also for for enhancing the well-being of the employees that they can, elect to use their services. So basically just a consultant that we pay for development leadership.
Okay, so it was in a conference that anyone went to? Because I know they used it for a conference last year. I mean, you were probably not here, Maggie.
Nah, I think the reference, the Mayor Pro Tem's referring to is the, executive retreat from last year.
Mhm.
But as part of the contract, there is a quarterly fee for the services. No executive retreat has been planned for this year.
So quarterly, his fee is 10,000?
Will we be getting a check, cal card next meeting?
Yes, that'll be in the next council meeting.
Anybody else? Is there a motion to approve the check register?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please. On the check register? Sure, come on up.
Hi, Teresa Salas. In Community Services, check number 87767 for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Fresno. It says Youth Development Program, $31,000. How often is that paid to them? Is that a yearly, a quarterly, monthly? What
That's
is-
the yearly,
That's the yearly donation
yearly
from the
donation
city
that the city makes,
to them.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else with a question on the check register? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment or question about a particular item on the check register tonight?
Mayor, I see no hands raised right now.
Okay, that, I think the motion and the second still stands. We call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes, item 1.8, I pulled this off tonight because of page 135. If you're scrolling through your packet, the bottom of page 135 is the Animal Services Manager, which I believe has received an increase tonight as a result of prior negotiations. And my question is for HR Interim Director Ballard, are we going to put this out? Is that going to be posted soon or when?
We will council to implement.
Okay.
This one is on the list to go, to be open by tomorrow afternoon, so we'll get the salaries updated. We have actually 4, that'll open tomorrow, that are in this package.
And on a related note, as you know, a couple of us have been involved with the animal shelter. Councilman Oseguera and I are part of the ad hoc committee, the advisory board for the advisory committee for the animal shelter. So my question is, can we get involved in the interview process for the animal services manager, since we do have pretty specialized knowledge of this, along with one member of that committee? Would you let us know when that's interviewing, when that panel interview occurs, so that we can be part of that?
I can set up where we have a separate, we can run 2 panels very soon.
Great.
And that's a nice balance because it gives you.
Like we did with the city manager search. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else with a question about this item on the agenda tonight? Is there a motion? Is anybody on the phone or online with a question about this item, item 1.8 of the consent calendar?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
Thanks, sir. Is there a motion to approve item 1.8?
So moved.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Moving on to departmental reports. We're gonna,
Jim.
Wait. I'm sorry, Councilmember Avalos.
oh, sorry.
Yes.
It's unanimous. We will now move on unanimously to our departmental reports. We'll start with our city manager, Kunkel.
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor. I'll answer any questions if anybody has some.
Thanks again for the trays. City Attorney. Thank you. Deputy City Manager.
Nothing to report.
Okay. City Clerk.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Finance Director Moreno.
Mayor, nothing to report.
You. Fire Chief Webster.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to provide a brief update as to the status of my staff and the fires occurring kind of up and down the state. Over the last few days, we received some of our staff back from the High Sierra Complex and the Garnett Fire. Squad 111's returned 3 of our staff there. Our ambulance returned with those 2 staff, as well as our line medic. We still have a safety officer up on the Garnett Fire, which is Captain Peters. And then Fire Marshal Rivas just returned from Oregon. He's back in the office today, getting caught up. And then Battalion Chief Fulner remains up in the Willamette National Forest on an incident as well. So currently just 2 staff out. We remain on drawdown internally, meaning that we're not going to send any resources out for the upcoming couple of weeks, as we have our 3 new firefighters. They'll be beginning on September 22nd with their new hire academy, and that will require 2 of our captains to convert over to training assignments, so a modified schedule of Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And so we'll get those new candidates through their official training and then get them onboarded onto their prospective shifts. And so once we get that process completed and everybody back to where they belong, then we'll get back on the list to share our resources with the state again. So.
Question for you, Fire Chief. Heard it from the public. Couple members of the public have asked, because you talk about different members of the fire department going out on these fires. Is that voluntary, or do you assign particular members to go out on these fires?
So we do our best. I don't know if voluntary is the right word, but we do ask our staff who's available. We do our best to accommodate their, vacation schedules, personal needs, and that kind of thing. But it also depends on the nature of the incidents as well. And so I make my decisions based off of incident priorities. And I'll give you the example of the Palisades fire that occurred over the winter, which was kind of an anomaly. But when, the mission is to go protect people's homes and lives and that kind of thing, we're a little less accommodating to people's, volunteering, and we'll mandate that staff come back to cover stations and that we send resources as quickly as possible. There's also circumstances where the mission is more about protecting the environment, and in that there's a little bit less urgency and a little more time for planning and selection of resources. And so we try to make those decisions, as the incidents occur, but we do our best to just manage the fatigue and rigor of our staff's, jobs. And so there are those that prefer to go out and, go to different incidents up and down the state. And then there are those that prefer to cover behind those staff that are gone, just so they're a little closer to home and they still have the ability for their families to visit them and that kind of thing while they're here on duty. So we try to accommodate both, but when it's mission critical for them to be there timely, that that opportunity for flexibility goes away, and we'll just send whatever crews are here on duty, just as if they were responding to a 911 incident here in town.
Okay, Chief, on that note, do you guys, as a chief, do you check on these guys, make a call, see how they're doing on a daily basis? That way, if the guys, how they're doing, they're under stress or whatever, you're on, this is on your guys' watch, you know what I mean? I don't want the guys to get stressed out, overworked over there, doing a fire, you're on the line. They no time for a lunch break, I understand that.
So different assignments allow for different communication availability. Some of our staff, they'll hop on helicopters at base camp and get sent out to the middle of nowhere where communications are few and far between. And then some assignments are where, we have constant communications with them. Our command structure, our officers that are assigned to engine companies that go out, or our single resources, are expected to communicate daily or when available available, if there's communication challenges there, and we want updates as to their assignments to make sure that they're well within their scope and capability, as well as just ensuring that they have all of their needs met. With our ambulance being assigned to the High Sierra complex, that specific resource comes with different challenges than fire apparatus because of the equipment that they carry with them. And so our EMS supervisor had to make runs up to their location to provide them with cardiac monitor batteries and other things that they don't carry enough of and is not accessible for replenishment at base camp just because of the specifics. And so we do our best to communicate with them as much as possible, as well as providing them with their logistical or operational needs throughout their assignments.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Police Chief Alcaraz.
Thank you, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. In front of you, you have the Part 1 crime statistics for the month of August. And if you have any questions. Additionally, I wanted to commend our investigations unit and our patrol units. We had two suspects come into the city of Selma to set up an exchange of some property on a sale that they made over some social media forum. During that time, they robbed the citizen of some property. Our investigations unit did some great investigating using some digital media and things of that nature. We're able to locate the suspects that were out of the city of Fresno, authored some search warrants, and located property that belonged to the victim, as well as illegal firearms. And they're continuing to pursue other avenues on that case. So I just want to kind of commend them because those are suspects that came from beyond the city of Selma, victimize our citizens. When we went out to the city of Fresno, reminded them that we don't appreciate that type of activity here in Selma. So again, hats off to my staff and their incredible hard work. Additionally, I know I want to apologize for any inconvenience. However, we are still working through the logistics on how we get animal calls out. It seems like it should be easy, but with the turnover in staff, it makes it very difficult to facilitate that training, get everybody on board, because it seems like we're always losing staff. So the minute we can coordinate that training, facilitate it, implement it, and then actually perform that training at a level that's acceptable, creates challenges for us. But we're continuing to work through that. We're going to work with Communications Director Jose Moreno to push out some communications to our community on how we're going to better address that issue. So it's again, it's a work in progress. We appreciate the grace and patience of our community members, and we're always working to be better. So that's all.
I want to thank you, Chief, for our conversation today about just that very topic. You know, there were some communications issues there. We worked through them, and I think it was really important that, you know, you reiterated that people, if they do see an injured dog, they can and should call the PD. If there are any issues with calling the shelter or not, they can just call the Selma PD if they need to. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And that's going to be the communication we're going to work with Communications Director Moreno to push out. So we again, continue to keep pushing out information. Yes,
And
sir.
we're going to sit on the interview panel for the new Animal Services Manager, which I think is, as we've discussed, a pretty key hire. So that'll be front and center in
I
terms
think
of.
I'm more excited than anybody else here, Mayor.
I'll bet. No. All right. Well, thank you for that, Chief. Public Works Director joining us online tonight, I believe.
Mr. Hahn, you're allowed to talk.
Lightly raised his hand.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Copy you, Mr.
Okay,
Hahn.
sorry. Sorry about that. Great to see all of you. Couple of things to report on tonight. The main thing is the concern with the downtown trees that have been planted on High Street. I know they're looking a little puny, kind of wilted up and changing colors. We've been in contact with Belmont Nursery, as well as had our arborist out to look at them. Couple of things going on. One thing is that those trees are in shock. That's kind of a standard thing when you take box trees out. The trees were planted with root barriers. We purchased 3 yards of soil media from the nursery to actually put around the root ball system. Arborist was there to help us plant them. They are on water drip. The timers are working. The soil's moist around them. We need to give them a couple of weeks from what Belmont's telling us. They should spark back up. But the other thing is that it is fall. Not typical time that you plant trees like that. Usually it's springtime that we plant. So those are a couple of things going on. We're keeping a close eye on them. So everybody just give it a chance to take, and we will continue updating council as to what's going on with that. The other thing we have going on is we're excited to say that we actually started today laying out for the pickleball lights at Brettlinger Park. We received those Fonrose solar lights about 3 weeks ago. We had to rent a piece of equipment to actually auger the holes. Staff will be starting tomorrow with the pole set. Super excited about that. With the time changing a little bit and it getting darker earlier, it's going to be nice to have lights out there to have people be able to utilize the courts till the parks close at 10 o'clock. So that's starting tomorrow. The other thing that we have going on is the Schaefer Park softball field lights. That is moving forward. Just got some emails from Musco today. Looks like the panels are going to ship on the at the same time that the bases ship before the poles come. So it'll give our staff time to actually get the panels mounted in the panel control room or electrical control room and get the rigid conduit piped over to where the new panels are to be ready for those sets. So that looks like it's moving forward as planned. Don't see any delays with that. Everything looks good, and that's all I have to report.
When is that concrete job going to bid for downtown director?
So I misspoke. My apologies, Mr. Mayor, and to the council. I thought that had gone out and advertised 2 weeks ago. It actually went out last week. The bid opening should be coming sometime around the first week of October, not the end of September, as I had said previously, and I apologize for that and making that misstatement. But that is moving forward, and we will keep it secured in those areas around the trees until that portion of the project goes to bid.
We have a bunch of lights, different pictures of lights before us. Did you want us to look and make comments on the lights for downtown for the trees tonight?
Yes, I was hoping that council could look at those pictures. One thing that we have to consider is that those trees are small right now. Unfortunately, we had to purchase some of the smaller trees, but as stated in a previous council meeting, those trees grow 3 to 4 feet a year, so they're going to grow rapidly. We're looking at lights that we're going to have to strand and unstrand and restrand on multiple occasions as the tree's growing to keep the tree from being restricted. So there's a couple of options there. I know that one of the options that we talked about was having lights that change colors. We're trying to find something that blends in with the tree that, having a green or brown or black cord, it kind of takes away from the ambience of the tree itself. And so a couple of options. One of the options that we have is the Starry Fairy lights. Kind of a funny title for the lights, but those are available right at our local Home Depot. Those things are 44 feet, which would allow us to actually wrap the smaller trees. It's a single copper wire with a soft white, which was requested by many people not to have the bright LED white or high vis white lights. And the copper wire actually allows you to bend it around the trees and the branches, can be easily taken down and restranded as the tree's growing. The second option that we have, and I actually gave the description to go with the outdoor lights, which is they change colors. There's Wi-Fi options. You can actually, if we had Wi-Fi downtown, we could actually put Christmas music to the lights to where that lights actually react to the Wi-Fi music that's being streamed throughout the downtown area. I think personally, right now, Mr. Mayor and council members, my personal opinion, to get the ambient light and to give the ambience in general to the downtown area with the trees that we planted, I think for the cost, it would be better to go with the cheaper copper wire soft white lights that we can wrap and unwrap and rewrap easily. They're plug-in. Both options are plug-in options, so the receptacle at the base of the tree will accept either one of those light options. But you know, the lights that we've looked at, the big bulby, more like cafe style lights, the trees need to grow. They really need to get to full size, which is, you know, for the bigger trees, about another 2 to 3 years. But we can still add that vibrance to the downtown with the other light options for a cheap amount of money. We could even come back to council in a year and ask for a different type of light as the trees are growing. But at this time right now, personally, my option would be to go with the smaller copper wire light option.
And would you want to go to Home Depot and get those before the concrete is in, or would you wait until the concrete job is done, Director?
No, Mr. Mayor, I would like to get the receptacles all set in place and actually get the lights going. We have events coming up. We want to light up the downtown area. I think that it really would pop out, even without the concrete. We're going to keep the safety fencing around it, Mr. Mayor, for safety for the public. But I think that we get the lights in now and get them on, and you know, it's not going to interrupt what the concrete work is going to entail as far as digging a footing, setting forms, and pouring that. And then we'll be back after the concrete to actually finish putting the soil media and the hardscape in the area where the tree is in the planter. So I think
Are
we
you
should.
looking for direction for council tonight by consensus to move forward with those little lights, Director?
I would like that, Mr. Mayor.
Is council okay with getting those lights from Home Depot and putting them around the trees?
I'm good, just to get it
Okay.
started.
Great.
Start.
Councilman Oseguera?
Start.
do it.
Okay. Consensus 100%.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Director. Way to go. Anybody with a comment?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Actually, it's some complaints. Okay, you know those bulb outs that are in front of Parmender's building where Naughty Chicks is supposed to go into? And then the bulb out there in front of Bloomies. Now that this is, you know, we've taken those parking stalls right there at the front, it makes it difficult for a vehicle that's coming into High Street and a vehicle that's going out. It's narrow. Is there any way they can cut those back and make the street a little wider so that we're not having those issues? I mean, I'm just getting this from quite a bit of people that's saying it's getting a little difficult there, and we see it. I mean, we see vehicles going over the little cement there, you know, so the curb, yeah, exactly. Especially when you get big vehicles like Amazon delivering, they go through that all the time. So I'm just wondering, is that something that we can consider looking at?
Mayor Pro Tem Gary, yes, we can, absolutely. And I don't want to talk on behalf of the city engineer, but I can tell you that the assistant city manager, the city engineer, and myself have been working on the intersection of um, coming up to Second Street, High Street, the opposite side, and the south side of Second Street. There are some major parking issues with the diagonal parking. There's an issue absolutely with the bulb outs on the north side of Second Street. Keep in mind that we do have the Second Street beautification project happening up to the west side of Union Pacific Railroad tracks. But as we've all discussed, even with the downtown beautification and the trees, the cafe lights, the awnings on the buildings, we're going to wrap this project around the corner going from High Street west to the railroad track. So I think that those are things that absolutely can be surveyed and looked at during a design phase for that, Mayor Pro Tem. And I think that, yes, that is a valid concern. And I see real bottlenecking or choking in that intersection, as well as an intersection on the east side of UP's tracks leading up to East Front and the bottleneck onto Second Street. So we are already looking at that. And I'm glad you brought that up. That's a valid point.
Okay, thank you.
If I could add to that point, the downtown strategic plan specifically identified that intersection as needing to be realigned due to those traffic issues.
Perfect. Is there grant money available for that work, or would that be something more streets and roads inclined?
Depending on the configuration that we identify for that intersection, there could be grants involved for that if you're doing some sort of traffic calming or something along those lines, maybe like a roundabout there. I know that's a bad word in some communities, but getting grants for roundabouts is a thing that is relatively easy to obtain. But there are various avenues for us to
It's definitely a problem. It'd be great if we could coordinate it with the revitalization of Second Street. Awesome. Okay, next is our community services program. Liz Pletcher, Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening. Just a few things to report on. We do have the fire department coming over to the senior center tomorrow to give a presentation on the Fire Med program, which is a $75 annual registration for ambulance services that applies to Selma, Kingsburg, and Dinuba. And so that is a service that is open to the community, and they will be doing a presentation over at the senior center tomorrow at 11:30. If anybody would like to attend, our doors are open. It'll be a quick Q&A with the fire department, and we do have some time allotted for tomorrow about 9 a.m. over at the senior center if anybody needs help registering for that program. And so you'll see that going out on our social medias as well. And I'm sure Jose is going to work on a whole communication aspect for this. And so just wanted to inform you about this. And then the other thing is we are going to be at the Selma High School football game, taking registrations for our NFL flag football, our cheer squad, and our 5K registration. All of those registrations are coming to an end fairly soon. And so the registration deadline is October 10th. And so if anybody is interested in participating in those programs, we'll be out at Selma High School this Friday from 7 to about 8:30. And then we are hoping to do another in-person registration as well. Date to be determined this time. That's all I have.
Any Arts Center updates?
Art Center. The only thing is they closed Finding Nemo Jr. this weekend. They had a lot of sold out shows. They were working on accommodating as many people as possible after there were no more tickets available. And so they did a wonderful job. They had their cast party yesterday. Other than that, everything is going status quo over there. They're working on opening Mojada, which will open towards the end of this month, early October.
What about Pepe Marquez? You always forget to mention that.
Pepe Marquez is coming next week, so I invite you all to come on out to Lincoln Park next Friday the 26th. There'll be a beer garden, food vendors, informational booths, small car show, and live music. So September 26th.
A great commercial.
5:30 to
Our
10.
Public information officer online yesterday for that.
Yes,
Looking
yes,
really
doing a
good.
wonderful job. So thank you so
Great
much.
promotion.
Thank you.
Chief, before I forget, Chief Alcarez, really appreciate all the updates that you're sending council. It's much appreciated. Some of us don't have access to email sometimes. I was wondering, would it be too burdensome to text us if there's, an update? Do you have all our information? I mean, I can send it to you if you don't.
I'll get those. Mayor, quite honestly, I prefer to text. I just didn't have those cell phone numbers. So I just need to get those.
Could let us
And
know
then we
which
can
ones
put
you
you on
don't
a
have.
thread. Yeah, it's not a problem at all.
That'd be great. Everybody good with that, with texting instead of email? Okay, it's just faster. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then now we're going to move on to our introduction of our Public Information Officer, our Communications Director, Mr. Jose Moreno. We approved your contract a couple weeks ago at the last meeting. And as we've already heard, you're having a big impact. Thank you for coming up with the QR codes tonight. And I just wanted to give you the floor for a little bit to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, community members. This is a really exciting time for the city of Selma. We're growing, revitalizing, and the people want to feel more connected to what's happening in our community. That's where the communications director role comes into play. Serving as a bridge between what's important, what the work that's happening at City Hall and to the people that we serve every day. I bring to this position more than a decade in television at Fox and Valley PBS, and years of experience leading communications at Fresno EOC, which is one of the largest nonprofits in California. There, I managed a team that developed campaigns for critical services for those who need it most in our community. Most recently, I served as the communication director for the Fresno Teachers Association, where I work to communicate, empower, and celebrate thousands of educators who give their very best every day to our students. Those skills, strategy, leadership, and storytelling are the same ones I'm bringing to here to the city of Selma. But this role is more than a profession for me. It's actually very personal. I was born and raised here. I grew up walking to Floyd's Auto Parts to visit my grandpa, who worked there for many years. I grew up riding my bike to Video World Arcade for many years with my friends. And now I'm raising my daughter here. She's actually dancing folklorico right down the street at Centro de Folklore right now. Along the way, I've stayed involved by serving on local boards, supporting our art center, and working with the Selma Business Improvement District to strengthen our downtown area. What excites me most is working alongside a team of city staff who show up every single day for Selma. There are so many wins happening here that deserve to be celebrated. My commitment is to help tell those stories, shine the light on the progress being made, and keep our community informed and engaged. And I want to thank you all for the opportunity to serve my hometown.
Thank you, Jose. You know, we've heard a lot about the necessity and importance of renewing our infrastructure and building our infrastructure, but let's face it, if no one knows about that, maybe they don't know what that even happened. This day and age in 2025, we need good communications. We really need to bring our message out and show who we are, the social media platforms, our websites, and I really think our PIO and our communications director is going to help us take us to the next level on that. So,
Question before we close this.
Yep.
For Deputy King, what's happening with Thompson Park? Are we still 95% or where are we?
So there's two projects down by Thompson Park. There's the Thompson Park project. There's the active transportation trail along the canal as well. That is the piping of the CID canal. We also have piping of CID's canal on Thompson Park's project. The two projects, no matter how much we try to treat one over the other, we have to deal with CID on those projects, and coordinating those improvements is where the hangup is right now in terms of negotiating with CID on what the acceptable improvements are for undergrounding. Yes, the park plans are 95%, but getting agreements from the agency that we're undergrounding their facilities is where the hangup is on that.
How much longer do we have on that grant?
2028.
We still have time.
And I didn't mean to be remiss, but Interim Director, HR Director Fowler, did you have a report tonight?
Plus we missed her.
Just that we're actively recruiting for officers moving forward. We've got
Can't hear you, Maggie.
Sounds great. Thank you. Okay. And with that, so we give the public a opportunity to interact with our department heads before some of them take off for the evening. We are going to take a 5-minute break.
5-minute break before that? Come on now, Scott. Help a brother out. I just had crack surgery. The body's on.
All right, with that, we're going to move on to our one and only item of new business tonight. It is approval consideration of Resolution 2025-91R, approving the lease purchase of 9 cardiac monitor defibrillators and associated equipment, and authorization for the city manager or designee to execute all necessary documents. Report, please.
And Patrick, you working on the presentation? Perfect. Yep, no worries. Yep. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item before you is an item that was presented during the budget workshop for this fiscal year earlier on. So this is going to be a little bit of a recap for you and maybe some new information for the public. So before you is for recommendation is for the lease purchase of 9 new LifePak 35 cardiac monitor and defibrillators. And the reason that this is important is that these devices are the only devices that we can utilize to restart a heart that's in cardiac arrest with a shockable rhythm. And so it's a critical piece of equipment for our EMS division as well as our fire division, and just a critical piece of equipment to provide to our community. Next slide, Patrick. So the LifePak 35 cardiac monitors is a handheld device that's carried on our ambulances and our fire apparatus. And these devices are similar to a piece of equipment that you would see in a hospital. It has a screen on it that shows your cardiac rhythm. It's got software internally that's able to recognize heart attack, various heart conditions, and then it also has a defibrillator inside, which we can utilize for synchronized cardioversion, defibrillation, and cardiac pacing as well. And so, again, this device is something that we've been carrying on our ambulances for years and years, and it's just time to update these devices as a replacement. Next slide, please. So currently, we have 8 cardiac monitors in our fleet, and those 8 cardiac monitors are in various levels of condition as well as their service life. And so cardiac monitors, they have a service life of 10 years where they are serviceable by the manufacturer. You're able to get replacement parts for them. And then beyond that, they're no longer serviceable. So you're basically at the mercy of the device operating correctly. These devices, they're on a 10-year cycle. And once that you exceed that 10-year cycle, you can no longer purchase that same device. So as you look at this slide here, we still have one LifePak 12, which is our old and faithful, but it's, I would say, long in the tooth. It's 21 years old and is still in service on one of our frontline apparatus. And so that device itself is no longer serviceable. So any parts that get damaged or any type of equipment malfunctions associated with that, we can no longer do anything with it. The remainder of our piece of equipment are all LifePak 15s, which was the most current model. And those are all in some of them have exceeded their service level, and then some of them are coming near that. The reason that we are requesting for a full replacement of all of our cardiac monitors and defibrillators is a couple of reasons. Number one, because of the equipment replacement cycle that these have that are beyond our control, we're changing our model of purchasing just one every year with a new ambulance to replacing all of our cardiac monitors in one fell swoop. Why that's important is because of the muscle memory that is required by our staff to be able to utilize those in urgent situations, as well as the training that's associated with all of the interfaces on those devices themselves. And so these are super complex machines. They have touch screens, a significant amount of settings and buttons. And so on our fleet, our staff, they're all moving around on the different resources that they're assigned to. And so if we start to cycle in these new devices, we will have varying pieces of equipment that they have to utilize, which makes it cumbersome for them to be proficient and efficient, while on scene making, critical life-saving decisions. So with that, going forward this cycle, if we purchase 9 of these cardiac monitors today, we're going to enter into a 6-year lease purchase. After the 6th year, those devices become the city's property, and we'll be able to utilize those devices for the next 4 years of their 10-year life cycle, and then we'll be able to purchase all of those devices again and purchase whatever the model is at that time. And so again, the strategy here for the city is to ensure that all of the devices are the same. So they're being, it's the same training, the same muscle memory for our staff. And then as we replace those out in the future, it's going to go through that same process of new training and then the same product that we're utilizing in our ambulances. Next slide. So again, today we carry a total of 8 cardiac monitors. Those are carried on our EMS supervisor's vehicle, the frontline ambulances that we staff today, as well as all of the frontline fire apparatus as well. Next slide. These are the resources and just the time that those resources are on the front line. So our supervisor resource, that's a 9-hour resource here during the week. And then our ambulances, which are signified as 551, 552, 553. Those are all 24-hour resources, as well as the engine 110, 111, and truck 111. And then as we move to bringing that 4th ambulance online here in the near future, once we get that new ambulance in service, we'll have a 12-hour resource as well. Next slide. So in this lease purchase is a service plan that is part of the purchase as well. And what that is basically the equivalent of a bumper-to-bumper warranty for these devices. These devices are carried on our gurneys in the ambulance. They're carried into homes, back into hospitals, and so they have a pretty rough life. They get banged around in bedrooms sometimes as we're moving patients. And so a service contract not only does the annual maintenance and calibration, but it also covers the damages that are associated, with just the use of those devices themselves. If you look in your packets, the breakdown of that service contract, and as you'll notice, it's a 5-year contract, not a 6-year contract, because the first year there's devices are covered under a factory warranty. But the cost of that is roughly $97,000 for those 6 years of coverage. That's roughly the equivalent of what 5 years of last year's service costs were. And I'd like to highlight that the $15,000 in repairs that we incurred for that fiscal year was actually a light year for those devices. The prior year was roughly $30,000. And so there is savings in purchasing the service contract with that, and it minimizes any unforeseen expense that we would see for that period of the 6-year lease purchase. And then anything beyond those 6 years, we would then either enter into another service contract or just take on the repair costs at that point. Next slide. Here's just a breakdown of all of the equipment associated with this purchase. And again, that includes the 9 cardiac monitors. And then I'm not going to go down all of the breakdowns, but basically it's all of the parts and accessories that go along with those cardiac monitors, as well as the battery chargers and all of the additional batteries that we have to carry. Next slide. And then the last thing that I would add is that the procurement of this is will be utilizing a Sourcewell contract, which is a cooperative, and that satisfies the purchasing requirements for the city in order to enter into the lease program. Next slide. So the last part is there's 6 annual payments. It's a fixed rate, and those payments are $106,063.61. Again, the first payment would be due this year. That was incorporated and adopted in this year's budget. The amount that we budgeted, I believe, is about $148,000, and so this is coming in under budget, and that was based on some adjustments to the package that we had initially looked at. Next slide. Yeah, and that concludes my presentation. If there's any questions that you have, I'd be happy to answer.
Council have any questions for Fire Chief Webster?
Yeah, Chief, quick question. you know, on this note, would part of the funding come out of the ambulance, fund operation and also Measure S operation
This will be 100% funded through the ambulance fund.
for the ambulance fund, 100%?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. I know, I remember when we talked about this and you had talked about it. So will we, so for the upcoming budget, will we always budget like 140, 135? Will we keep it a little over just to make sure that if anything changes, or are these factual 106,000 per year? Is this gonna change or will it change?
For this particular lease purchase, those numbers are fixed for the entirety of the 6-year contract.
If the city gets more ambulances and needs more of these, will they be plugged in at this lease amount? Will they be a new piece of equipment that they'll have to get new muscle memory on? Or can we get a model that's just like this even in the future? Because I can see our fleet needs growing as well.
Yeah, so the LifePak 35s, you can purchase them one at a time if you wish. For this particular program, we're purchasing 9 cardiac monitors, and that allows us to have 4 frontline ambulances. Today, we have 3 frontline ambulances. It allows for us to have cardiac monitors in our 3 frontline fire apparatus, and then as well as our EMS supervisor. And then that allows 1 additional cardiac monitor that's in a reserve capacity ultimately. If one has some sort of unforeseen, damage or mishap or whatever, we're able to swap that out while the maintenance or repair is occurring. And then also it allows us flexibility for when we assign resources out of county. For example, when that ambulance went up to the High Sierra complex, that goes as a fully staffed resource, and so a 4th ambulance virtually, and we're still staffing our 3 ambulances here for the community. And so, yes, we are able to expand the program if necessary. As far as incorporating them into this specific lease, I don't believe that that's an option, but I'm uncertain. But I can tell you that, we can purchase them individually, and Stryker is a great company to work with. That's who we purchase our gurneys, our stair chairs, a lot of our equipment, and they're an excellent partner. Not just from their sales team, but also their maintenance team goes above and beyond for us on the regular. And so they're a cell phone away, and they show up very promptly to ensure that our ambulances are in service. And so, as needs develop and as our department grows, there's certainly, options there for us.
The city buys the waiver because these are leased equipment. Is there a property, because they go into fires, I could see them having a mishap in some fire or another. Is there a waiver that the city can purchase? Or, like you can get with a rental car? Is there a waiver coverage? I didn't see it on the breakout of the line items.
Sure. So this is different with regards to lease terms, like a vehicle or like a rental agreement. The property actually becomes ours at the conclusion of the lease itself. So as far as like damage, the service warranty covers the any of the pieces of equipment that are on those for the 6 years of the lease. And then if we choose to maintain those for the full 10-year life cycle of those final 4 years, we'll have options with regards to a service contract, so have you. As far as damage waivers, one, they don't necessarily go into fire conditions, but they go into homes for medical emergencies. We do use them in like inclement weather and those kinds of things, but they're designed for that kind of conditions. And so, I think that if one were to be damaged and we needed to file like an insurance claim or something like that, it would be covered in those circumstances. But as far as like an actual waiver from the company, that is not an option, with the exception of the service plan that's incorporated here.
That's just breakdown or problems.
Yep.
With the equipment itself.
Correct.
Okay.
On the other note, Steve, the question is, I'd like to see your entire staff be trained on this particular apparatus. The reason why I say that, I like to see the elite team, all right? You're the elite team, you know what I mean? I like, I'm the kind of guy that, hey, I like to produce elite team, and if everybody's trained, because you never know if the person that's supposed to be in charge is sick or something happens or in an accident, least I know someone is in that group, says everybody's trained for this in case something should happen, you know. I want everybody to be certified and everything, you know, by the, by the company that's gonna, if you're gonna lease purchase this thing, you know. Cause I know as time goes on, new equipment comes out, you know, so it's not like anything new. It's like the cell phone. New, next year we have, 2017, you know,
Always a new item.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
understood. And one thing that I left out of the presentation is that our staff actually did a 6-month trial run with these devices in the beginning of the year. And so all of our staff are anxiously awaiting their return because we had to go back to our older equipment, and they all appreciated having the newer stuff. And so all of our staff has been trained, but when we do get this new round in, there will be a refresher that comes with that as well.
Thank you, Chief.
Real quick, one last item from me. So in terms of funding for years 2 through 6, you say it's going to be the ambulance fund. Sounds good. Is the Selma Healthcare District also another potential funding source? I believe, because I think fire was already there in January and it was a striker item, but was it a different item than this that they went?
Yeah, so the healthcare district funded the purchase of auto pulse, or I'm sorry, not auto pulse devices, Lucas devices, which is a CPR device. And we've utilized those in the field now for, man, I want to say it's 8 or 9 months, I think, at this point. And we've seen some pretty significant results utilizing those with resuscitation attempts. And so that's a great device for the community and a great partnership there with the hospital district. This particular program will be funded through the ambulance fund. I anticipate, and the ambulance fund itself is capable of funding this for the foreseeable future.
Got it. Any comments or questions from the public?
Teresa Salas. I noticed that a couple of you said you're trading them all in, but a couple of them still had a lot of viability. Would it be better for us to, excuse me, keep a couple of those on hand as backups? Or do you have enough with what you're purchasing to have enough for a backup if something needed to be serviced or that kind of thing?
So that was one of the items that we discussed internally for best practice, and myself and my EMS division staff went back and forth on that. And for us, what's really crucial is our staff being proficient and efficient in utilization of those. They're fairly complex machines with regards to all of the options and all those things. And so when you introduce a device that is different, it makes it a little more cumbersome. And for us, we felt that it was going to be more beneficial, one, to our staff to be proficient, as well as the community to receive the critical treatments that are associated with that, to just change everything, going kind of to a different strategy to where we have all one product at one time. I think that is a great idea, and we utilize that approach for different types of equipment. But for this specific type of equipment, it's just better to have everybody the same. And without getting really into the details, there's really critical steps associated with some of those functions that have not done properly, or if you miss a step, can be critical. And so, to Councilman Avalos's point, having the elite team and the training for these devices, our teams train with that specific device quite often because of the complexity, and a lot of the treatments you do with that are low frequency treatments, and they're very high risk. And so, just taking that out of the equation from having to vary between two different devices.
And then the training, does the company provide the training to the whole staff or just to a few of you guys, and then you guys come back and train staff?
No, the training is provided to all three of our shifts. So that concludes the entirety of our staff. So they come on 3 different days and do that training. And during the trial run period, the individual, he's at our department quite often just because of other things that he does. But that training was provided to all of our staff. It actually led to discussion that impacted a protocol change in the whole EMS region, which was kind of awesome. Our EMS supervisor, Daniel Diaz, kind of led that. But the training does happen. It does happen by the company, and then also their customer service. They're a phone call away and they're here. Like, they're very engaged with their equipment and their cardiac monitors. So anything that comes up, questions, they're right there with us, which is tremendously beneficial to have that partnership.
So there's no additional cost for training.
No additional cost for that.
Any other questions from the public? Anybody online or on the phone with a question on this regular agenda item?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
That will bring the matter back to the council. Is there a motion to approve this
I'll
item
make a
tonight?
motion to.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item passes. Now we'll move on to future agenda items, which is council requests for future agenda items not subject to public comment. Items require a consensus. Does council have any future agenda items they would like to request tonight at this time?
Which way are you gonna start?
Nothing? Okay. Councilman.
Oh.
Pro Tem, we'll just go down the line.
Yeah, put it
Okay.
back.
I would like to request a copy of the spreadsheet that we get, an updated one, please.
And that's the spreadsheet of economic
Right.
development. Okay.
All the developers, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to revisit
Hmm.
the Rockwell Pond, 28 acres, see where we are on our purchase of those 28 acres with the county. Councilman,
Oh, that was easy.
that was very easy.
I would like to put in the future agenda an item to name one of our parks, maybe the Thompson Park, and name it after Dennis Lujan. It'll be easy today.
You took my thunder, Reese. It's okay.
My area.
That's all right.
Second.
Now, on the other note, I want an update on the new park. When it's supposed to be, the target is when it's supposed to be completed. And yes, then what's the timeline? The reason why I'd like to hear a timeline on that. If we're gonna name things, I wanna see timelines, you know what I mean? So, and also, I like to, we brought it earlier up, the Cal card, I'd like to see it back on the agenda, on our next agenda, our previous agendas. That way we know who, it's, for us, it's a check and balance. On the
Yes,
council's
and
behalf.
that is paid monthly, once a
Yes.
month, so it comes on every other
Yeah, I like.
every other agenda.
Yeah, I just signed the Cal cards,
Yeah,
Monday, so they'll be at your next meeting.
yeah, so,
And I think we didn't have it on this agenda because we had 2 of them on the last agenda,
Correct.
right? And so you had 2 Cal card statements on the last agenda, which covered the most recent period. And so the timing of payment, as the interim city manager said, the next one will be on the next agenda.
yeah, that way our eyes on it too, I, as council, it's check and balance thing, okay? That way we can say, hey, man, am I picking on one of the fire department or the police or, down the line? You don't want to do that.
Councilman Avalos, can I add to your request in regards to the park, the Thompson Park?
Yeah, the park.
And the reason why I want to ask is, or add to it is because in the past, I know that the city manager and other department heads were having negotiations with CID, and I know the importance of the conflict we have. So what I would like to add is if it has to be in closed session, I would like to know the negotiations, what they're actually bringing to the table. If we have to go in closed session, let's do it. The reason why is because I've been in those meetings. And I want to make sure that we have the leverage, because the concern I have is we have multiple canals that are not being taken care of. I've had talks with them in regards to that. So when we're having these negotiations of the walk park, and these are all funded projects, right? There's money sitting there. So they have a due diligence also to be doing that for our community. We have the due diligence to negotiate. So I'd like to, if the mayor has to appoint certain council members so we can sit and understand, or they can come back and relay that message to us. Because if we don't do this, we're gonna be at the last year of 2028 and we're not gonna meet the time frame. So I think that if we can add to that, I think it would be great, you know?
Well, I think what you want, Johnny, is to, when you have two entities on the council, on these committees, it kind of streamlines the operation in general to everybody, information wise and everything. And it's a smart move, really, for, to do these
Well,
things.
we have a representative, an elected representative of our irrigation district. We
Yeah, he-
should reach out to our elected representative and say, where are we on this? Because
Yeah.
we elect you and we expect some action on this because you're in effect holding up our park. So that's what I'm hearing informally, that they are holding up our park by not approving this, and we could be much further along if we didn't have this stoppage.
As with most things, the fewer agencies you have to negotiate with, the quicker things get done. Unfortunately, other agencies have different priorities than the city necessarily does, and that's where the hangup is. CID's primary purpose is water delivery to farmers and recharge of the water basin, not land development, not providing parks is not part of their mandate. And so part of the discussion is meeting their mandate for delivery of water that meets their standards.
Also the water deposits.
Correct. And
That's the
so,
biggest one.
correct. And so when you have two
themselves.
agencies that have, just gonna say differing priorities, there needs to be some compromise on both ends. However, leverage wise, I mean, it's their canal that we're undergrounding as part of the grant. So the leverage is more on their side and complying with what their requirements, I think, is.
The question is, how can we get our priorities
Absolutely.
on their radar? And if we need to attend one of their board meetings and go up there during oral communications or get on their agenda, I'd be more than happy as our mayor to go. And if staff wants to prepare a report for me to read from and to have, good things to say about irrigation and getting this done, these are the elected representatives. And so maybe we could get things done by attending one of their board meetings. And they're right here in Selma. So, it's not like a huge field trip. Yeah.
And then also add note, we have a farmer in the audience in the back down, and we can drag him down there too.
Harvey could go with us.
Harvey can go
Yeah,
too.
you're on the hook, Harvey. You've just been volunteered.
Yeah, he rose his hand. See, there you are. Thank you, Harvey.
All right.
Sometimes, those collaborations, with farmers and CID, because they deal with the farmers. And when you have farmers that are on board with the city and everything, it's a great impact.
And sometimes us on the boards, we don't get into the granular detail that the people who actually do the work and go in every day, that they know in operation. So if we approach them at a board meeting, maybe we could, get their board to look at it and maybe push the people who work for them and whose employment they determine. Maybe we could help that along.
Yeah, and you're right.
Got a comment, Harvey? Come on up. He's already thinking about the gears are moving. Oh, yeah.
Green.
Look, it's gone right now. The good thing is that they are open board meetings, for the most part like yours, and when they have to
Elected.
go to closed session, they will do that. And in that open board meeting, you have a variety of people, mostly farmer concerned, but you'll have some state officials with Sigma. You'll have some other officials who have,
Big time.
let's say, another iron in the fire with them. And not too long ago, they were talking about this what Johnny just said about this project and lining the canal.
Mhm.
And so they are also very aware, and they're also very much on board. And so you actually have someone or some people there who are attentive to that and would be more than welcome public opinion that they will get from you folks. Just come prepared, tell them what you need and what your Jerome made a good comment. You've got two conflictions, one city view and one CID view.
Different priorities.
They're both governmental agencies, a quasi-government agency, but they will work with each other to the extent they can. But they will be more than enough participation from you folks with some of us there to move whatever you need. But just remember, they're two different mindsets. and
Gotcha.
you need to come
Do
to
they have
the-
oral communication? Is that
Yes,
when
they
you
do.
suggest we
Yeah,
get up
yeah,
and make
yeah.
our case?
Yeah, normally when we start out, it's always about Sigma, about GSAs. Then we transition over to CID oral communications. We talk about what we would need to talk about, and then after that, they have their own, much like you folks did earlier, like a closed session.
Maybe
But
we could even get on their
I
agenda, huh?
will certainly let them know that you want to be notified, and I'll let the manager know, Gene, that you guys want to be notified and put you on the agenda, so you folks can get on there and go and talk. And anytime you need me there, generally, like my good buddy, without my consent, told me that I'd be there, I'll be there.
You were volunteered.
And Harvey, and we appreciate you being there. Yeah, I know you volunteered.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I have a vested interest in the city. I have a vested interest in farms.
See?
I have a vested interest in liquid gold,
you-
water.
It is liquid gold.
Hey.
City
here-
manager, can you get us on the agenda? Deputy city manager, can you help us to get on the agenda? And then come with us to a meeting?
896-3830. That's the phone number to the CID, 896-3830. Okay.
We'll be-
Dean, and there's a deadbeat excuse for a water master, 647-2004 is Walt Frost. He's
Okay.
serving out time for retirement. That's like a few other people.
We'll let them know you sent us.
You
Thank
please
you.
do.
All right, that's it for future agenda items. How about council reports? Councilman Avalos.
I attended the Central Valley training with Johnny over there, and Johnny got to do a presentation to the class, and I got there early and got to interact with the classmates that are graduating for the future of skill sets from concrete, masonry, plumbing, all this. This is a like vocational training for and it's funded by different agencies, the high speed rail, EDC. It's different private entities, people that are come on board to assist the future vocational training in our valley. And people that came from all the way from kids that came from Clovis, Visalia, Fresno, Selma. Yeah, and different areas come here, and they have a bigger class in Fresno, but a lot of the students come here because there's more room and they're more accessible to get in quicker. And and it's always good. It's the 18th, believe it or not, it's the 18th class that graduated. And so, I mean, I've seen it from day one when I first on the council, and I see it now. It's a great opportunity for people in the valley, skill sets that never had skill sets before. When they leave that class, they know how to do things that they never did before, and their confidence level, and it teach them how to fill out resumes for jobs and everything like this, and to assist them. And the students, if they have a problem, they can always go back to school, and the school will assist them regardless after they graduate, which is amazing.
Awesome.
And that's an awesome, that's all I gotta say tonight.
Will you be letting our public information officer know when Dennis Lujan's funeral will be,
Oh, yes.
so that members of the community? can
Yes,
go out and
I'll
attend if they
I'll
wish?
let the community know, when Dennis's Lujan's funeral. I'll have all the council people, emailed, or I'll text or whatever. He was a very, long person on our city council government of Selma. Former council, mayor, without these past individuals being on the council, wouldn't, a little history, we would never had the Walmarts, the auto malls, these shopping centers, Albertsons, they used to be here. Now it's United Market area, that area is there. Those and Food for Less, J.C. Penney's, all these new entities, Walmart, without these people in the past and city governments, we would never had the tax money revenue that City of Selma has had. Our town has grown very fast, and we have just brought in a game changer in our city, a communication person. That it's a new adventure, a new tool. I seen it in Vegas when we went to the trade show. That is a amazing operation, a tool for every city to market. It's all about marketing and creating revenues and tax base, and without loss of tax base losses. So I welcome this gentleman that come on board, Jose. And I know he's going to do his skill sets, his background is phenomenal. So you're going to see some really changes in our community move forward, and other towns are going to get jealous of us. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Councilman Trujillo, anything to report?
First, I'd like to thank the council for asking me to go and speak for the high-speed rail with this CVT.
CBTT. Yep.
And one of the things that brought back to me was memories of me working for a concrete company for 24 years and actually started the high-speed rail with him. So that was really nice, and I was able to speak to the people, and I thank you for that. At the same time, I just understanding that 55 of our community members throughout the 9 graduations, there's been members of our community, and it brings back an understanding that in order for us to thrive in our future, it is to actually think about other kinds of meanings for the people to get jobs. And these are good working jobs, paying jobs. So it really hit home, knowing that from the start in 2019, we started this conversation in regards to this, and the fact that we were there and actually seeing them graduate was really an honor, and I thank the council for allowing me to do that. Aside of that, I thank all department heads for everything they've been doing. It's really appreciated. You see you see a lot of progress. I also want to welcome Ms. Moreno for the job that you'll be entering. Hopefully, everything works out good for us, and just our department heads in general. We are going through a phase where right now we're getting new city managers. So hopefully we can just rally around that individual and get things done and just move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Oscara?
Yes, I also attended the graduation, even though my colleague over here didn't say that I did, but I was there. Actually, we sat together, so I don't know how you can forget that I was there, but that's okay. That's okay.
These guys.
Should we go back to Jim? You want to say, bring it up?
No, don't give him any. I also want to welcome Director Moreno. I've known Jose for a while. I work with him in different arenas, and I know he'll do a wonderful job for our city. I also wanted to ask, what's happening with our minutes? We haven't seen minutes in a long time. Is that going to come back to our agendas? Because I know the public would like to see the minutes. Not so much for us, but the public likes to look at them and see what happened, because a lot of times we move so fast that, so I'd like to bring that back. See what else. I really haven't been attending too much because there's really just getting ready for the Pepe Marquez concert. That's been a journey in itself, as Rose and some of the committee members will tell you, but thank God we're almost there and everything's ready to go. There's a lot of videos out there if you get a chance to see them, and hopefully we'll see all of you there. Thank you.
Awesome. Mayor Pro Tem?
Okay.
I just want to thank staff and welcome Mr. Moreno. Just exciting time for the city of Selma, especially with so much movement going on. We got so much good businesses. I mean, it's crazy. And I always say that, but it's a good crazy because like people say, and I'll say it again, we're doers. So I want to thank staff and thank our council, everybody, our citizens. We're moving along and you'll see some good progress in the near future. So thank you.
I echo what Mayor Pro Tem and everybody else has said tonight. Welcome to Director Moreno. Thank you, staff, for everything you're doing for our city. And thank you to all of you for coming out tonight, the public, for keeping up on this. You know, we really do this because we are you. We're just your representatives. And tonight we had a chance for the people to come out and talk with the city manager after the department heads were able to and after the council was able to. So we really are all part of the same team here, and we are, I think, finally moving in the same direction. I'm really excited about the future of our town. Councilman Oseguera failed to mention that he and I went out to the animal shelter today. So don't know what happened there, but we went out and visited, and it's making improvements, and that animal services manager will really help us propel us forward on that to provide better service. We're still getting the communications part down. We're getting the protocols down, but it is a work in progress, and I stress the word progress because we are getting there on so many different fronts. It's just there's so much to do. Sometimes it can seem like it's out of focus, but it's not. We're all moving forward, and we're all headed in the same direction, which is make our town a better place to live and work. I'm really excited about downtown and the trees and lights coming back, our Second Street being reborn. I'm excited about our square, our Veterans Square, and looking forward to our Selma Live 2 event. And just want to thank everyone and hope everyone comes out for that event on the 26th. It's a free event. It's going to be just a great night for Selma and for everybody in Selma to come out and promote our town. With that, we'll move on to our last oral communications event of the evening. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item on the regular meeting agenda over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Any parting remarks tonight?
Busy tonight. Teresa Salas. I have a question about the signal light at Highland and Golden State Boulevard. I know when they were doing all the renovations, they changed them from sensors to timed signals. So the arrows will turn on even though nobody's there, and the signals don't get a green until they've had their time to turn, even though there's no cars there. Are they going to stay that way, or will they be changed back to sensors?
If I recall, the work that was done out there related to the cabinets was relying on PG&E, and that's why they were placed on timers, and the loops are not working at this time. Once PG&E finishes their work, I believe they will go back to being how they were. It's an issue of fixing the traffic cabinet that's out there, but I will verify.
Okay. And do we have any say-so on the signal that's just south of Manning Avenue? That thing has been blinking for years, and the signals are all up, the turns, everything, but they're just blinking red constantly. And
County, maybe?
that county, or is that
Or is that
Fowler?
Fowler. Their
But-
sphere is south of Manning, but I
Are
don't know
you-
if they're city.
Yeah, are you referring at Golden State and Manning?
Well, not Manning, but the one just south of Manning.
South of
yeah.
Manning, right in front of the,
That's not.
where the
Yeah.
church is. up
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Yeah, I believe that's City of Fowler, but I think that there's still work going on over there related
working
to
on
the
Golden
Lake
State
Corridor
there.
project, so
They're
that's out under
finishing up
control.
there.
Yeah.
It would be nice if that one was working too.
Thank you. Anybody else with a comment?
Stella Ramirez, Selma, California. I have a question also on the check register online. There wasn't anything on there, so, for us to be able, citizens to be able to review that as well. So can someone explain what happened?
On the agenda?
Mhm.
Was the check register not available on the online
No.
agenda?
Because I went on the packet and it's not on the packet. I went on the agenda, it's not. It only has the agenda. Yeah, so that was missing. And then my second one, I just wanted to say, give a shout out to the Second Chance Animal Rescue for going out and picking up that deceased dog that was out there this morning because no one was able to go out and pick him up. I heard that they called the shelter, but they weren't able to go out there. So I'm going to give a shout out to them and also thank council for giving us the opportunity to be able to meet the candidates for the city manager position. Thank you for that. Thank you.
I know. Anybody else with a comment? Anybody online or on the phone with oral communications at this time?
Mayor, I see no one online at this time.
All right, with that, we will move on and we're going to say goodnight to everybody and we're going to adjourn out of open session into closed session where the item has been set aside for the city council to meet in closed session to discuss matters pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. The city attorney will provide an oral report regarding the closed session. It's going to be a conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. Real property APN 358-08079, 5.03 acres vacant land at McCall and Nelson Boulevard. The negotiating parties are Harpreet S. Sumal and Devinder Gruwal, or assigns. Agency negotiator is John Kunkel, interim city manager, and under negotiation is the price of sale. And with that, we will recess into closed session.